Blue Team, this is Mr. Pennington with our review section 2 on the history of Latin America, and it really is about the first people, ancient civilizations, Christopher Columbus, exploration and independence. And I'm going to quickly go over everything we've been talking about over the last month in a quick review. There's going to be some bonus points that you can earn as you listen and watch. And without further ado, let's get started. We started talking about the first people to come to the New World, and these people came from Asia, and they crossed over this land bridge that you can see here, which is Beringia, and today that's no longer there. It's now water. It's the Bering Strait that used to connect Asia to North America, and the only reason that they came here was because that they were following nomads, or people who wandered around in search of food. And eventually, these people learned how to farm, and which helped them to stop traveling. One of the most important crops that they learned to grow was maize or corn. And eventually, they turn into these huge civilizations. And today, we call these nomads Native Americans. So they were spread all throughout Latin America. And we studied three major civilizations. We studied the Mayans, the Incas, and the Aztecs. And you made great flip video projects on these civilizations, and they made many accomplishments that we still remember today. The Mayans are located in Mexico, Belize, and Guatemala, and you can still see their descendants in this area. Their capital was Tikal. One of the most interesting facts about the Mayans is that they were polytheistic, and they made these sacrifices to the gods so that mainly they would have a good corn harvest. But they also made many amazing discoveries. They studied astronomy, which is the study of the planets and the stars. They developed a calendar. They developed a system of numbers, and they also developed a system of writing called glyphs. Now, the Aztecs we studied, and they were located in Mexico. Their capital, amazing, beautiful capital, was Tenochtitlan. Today, that's where Mexico City is located. And they also believed in many gods and also made sacrifices to these gods. One of the things that was really interesting is that they were warlike people. They conquered all the tribes around them. And we don't know what happened to the Mayans, but my own prediction is that the early Aztecs conquered the Mayans and made them assimilate into their culture. Now, they were excellent builders. They ended up building their capital on an island, and it had bridges that could rise. And eventually they were conquered by the Spanish in 1521 because they had a lot of gold. So you can see that, you know, they also made these beautiful floating gardens, and it was just such a beautiful city that they developed. And you can see that in the pictures, these beautiful temples, and, you know, really a great civilization. Bonus question number 1. Who was the leader of the Aztecs when Hernando Cortez arrived? It's worth 1 point. You want to email me at penningtonr@norwalkps.org to gain your 1 point bonus. The Incan Civilization was located in the Andes Mountains of Peru. Their capital was Cusco. And they lived in the mountains, so they used the llama for food, fur, and milk. And they domesticated the llama, which is really fascinating, as this was a wild animal, and the Incas were really the one that tamed it and used it. Now, they also set up a census, which was a system of how they counted their people. They would go to the villages, count the people, and they would keep track, because the Incas were the only civilization located in South America, and you can see that in the map there. And they covered 2,200 miles of area. And they used this to collect taxes, but they also had many major accomplishments. They used Quipu. They didn't have a written language, but they had these runners that would run all throughout the civilization sending messages. Now, they built these roads, these great roads throughout the Incan civilization, and they still use them today. That's how well they were built. And we still see some of their great buildings through earthquakes still standing. When we finished studying the civilizations, we started to study Christopher Columbus. And we learned that he really didn't discover America because those civilizations were here. But he did open up America to the rest of the world, which is such a great accomplishment. He sailed for Spain, and when he arrived, he brought many goods from America to Europe, such as parrots, corn, tobacco, hammocks, and gold. And because of that, this made other people interested in exploring for America. So other explorers searched Latin America. They wanted to come to America to find gold, but not just gold. They came for the 3 G's. And we talked about this. The first G would be gold, getting rich. Glory, they wanted to be famous. And also they wanted to spread religion. They felt like the Indians didn't have a religion and they were heathens, and they wanted to convert them. Now, Hernando Cortez conquered the Aztec Indians, and he actually was able to get those surrounding tribes to help him defeat them. Francisco Pizarro defeats the Inca civilization, and he arrived at a great time. The main leader, the king, died, and his 2 sons were fighting for control of the Incan civilization, so he used that. And both of these people are called conquistadors, or conquerors. Now, there's 4 reasons that the conquistadors, the small group of Spanish armies, were able to defeat the Aztec and Incas. The first one's guns and cannons. They had superior weaponry. They had horses. These tribes never even saw horses before. Armor. And diseases such as chickenpox, smallpox, and measles, mainly smallpox, helped to completely destroy the civilizations. Now, Spain set up colonies in the New World. They settled far from home, but Spain was still in control. And it was pretty much in everything except that was south of the United States. When we talk about colonialism, it's when a nation maintains or extends its control over foreign dependencies, and that means the same thing as setting up a colony. Having a place somewhere else other than your country, but you're still controlling it. And they set up this trade between the Old World and the New World called the Columbian Exchange. You guessed it, it's named after Columbus. And here's a perfect example. And you really need to know the Columbian Exchange because all of our foods today are a mix of Old World and New World delicacies. The New World is obviously America. The Old World is obviously Europe, Africa, and Asia. And you might want to write down some ideas or some goods that were shipped back and forth. We recently just finished independence, and we talked about what made these colonies fight for their independence. Well, the American Revolution and the French Revolution really inspired people in Latin America to fight for independence. People such as Miguel Hidalgo, who fought for the independence of Mexico. He was a priest and he was actually murdered. But he was really a freedom fighter for Mexico. And Jose de San Martin, who fought for Chile, Argentina, and Peru. And you can go to Argentina and actually still see a statue of Jose de San Martin. And then Toussaint L'Ouverture, famous, fascinating story about a slave who ended up fighting for the independence of what has become Haiti today from the French. And Simón Bolívar, he's very, very famous throughout Latin America, and he was called El Liberator because he fought for the independence of about 6 or 7 Latin American countries. So this is pretty much all of the information you'll need to know. And, bonus question number 2. After Bolivar helped these countries gain independence, he wanted to unite them as one country. What would it have been called? So he wanted to make one country like the United States made one country. What was it called? And you can email that to me. You can put them both in one email if you'd like. Good luck studying. 7:30 study session. So make sure you come. Talk to you later.